Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today we're going to be doing an old favorite, and I know it's liked by many people. That's going to be rice and pinto beans, and we're going to put in it some smoked turkey parts. So let's get started. I already have the water that I put on the stove, and I've already rinsed off my beans. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my beans to the water. Now, one of the things that you don't want to do with pinto beans is you don't want to add salt, because what the salt does is it will split the bean. So what you want to do is to cook these beans without any salt added, and then when you get to the very end of it, then you will add the salt. Now, the only thing you will add to this is 2 tablespoons of sugar, which I am putting in right now. And the tablespoons of sugar is just for balance. You're going to cook this on medium heat for about an hour to an hour and a half. Now, in this pot, I have some turkey necks that I'm going to add to the beans, and I'm going to put my seasonings in here. Now, the reason why I did not combine the two is because the turkey neck, since it is smoked, it does carry a large content of salt. So I don't want my beans to be split. So what I'm going to do in this pot is I'm just going to put in the onions and whatever seasoning I may want to put in. Everything will be put in this pot. On the back burner, I have my rice cooking. And I've already talked about how to cook rice, and you can look at one of my other segments and you can find that. But the perfect rice it's a 1-to-2 ratio. It's 1 cup of rice for every 2 cups of water. You would allow it to boil, come to a boil. Then you would cut it down on low for 15 minutes without removing the top, and then let it sit for 15 minutes after you cut it on low for 15 minutes. Let it sit for 15 minutes. Then you will have the perfect rice. Thank you, Leela. But after you do that, I want to just say a couple more things about these beans. Don't put anything in your beans. Allow your beans to just cook so you can have a whole completed bean. And what will happen is, as this process unfolds, I'll show you when to add your seasonings, and then I'll show you how it will gravy up, how your pinto beans are supposed to gravy up. So let's wait and see what happens. Chris Cook for you. We'll be right back. Hi, we're back, and I just wanted to show you these beans real quick. Okay, now, the beans, I want you to look at them. See, these beans are still whole. These beans have gone all the way through the cooking process, and they are still whole. And this is the way your beans are supposed to look. Now, some people do season their beans. They do soak their beans. I don't soak my beans. I just put them straight into the pot and let them go ahead through the cooking process, because it only cuts it down by maybe 15 minutes, in the cooking process. So that's really not a lot. And I like to see my gravy on my beans. Now, as I told you earlier, I have not put any seasonings in my beans. If you look over in this pot, my turkey parts, they're still boiling in this pot, and I have not added anything. Now, if you look at my juices, they are not really creamy. They're more watery than creamy, because it's not coating my spoon like it should. So what we're going to do at this point, we're going to turn these beans up, because you were cooking them on a medium heat. This is the last 15 minutes of cooking. We're going to turn these beans up on high, and we're going to let them blast cook for like 15 minutes. So I've already turned it up on high. I'm going to put my pot top back on it. Make sure you have enough liquids in here, which we do. And we're going to let this cook on high for 15 minutes. Now, why am I doing that? That's because now the beans are going to gravy. There's going to be a gravy effect to your liquids, so that when you get ready to eat it, it has more of a creamy type taste in your mouth. So we'll give this 15 minutes, and we'll get back with the finished process. Okay, we're back. It's been 15 minutes, so I want to show you the beans. Okay. Now, these beans have been cooking on blast. Now, look at how thick my gravy is. See that? See how it coats my spoon? Okay, now, my beans are still whole. Now, I'm going to cut my stove off. I'm going to add 1 pack of Lipton onion soup mix. And that depends on, you know, how many beans you have. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. I'm going to put my salt in. Now my beans are off. Even though you still see that boil, that's just coming from my stove. My beans are off. I'm going to stir this in. Look at those beans. See how they creamed up? Okay. Now, I'm going to add just a small piece of butter, and that's optional. You don't have to do it. You could have added, some people add a little bit of cooking oil. Ooh, this is kind of hot. Okay, to their beans. Now, the only thing I put in here was onions. I'm going to add that into my beans. These juices you don't really need. If you did not have enough gravy over inside of your pot, then you could add some. But we have enough. So I only took like 2 tablespoons of gravy. I'm sorry, of juices from that pot that I had my turkey necks in. But I can take a little bit more because this is really thick. Okay, that's kind of hot. I get accustomed to picking stuff up with my hands. Now, my beans are ready. My rice is ready. I'm waiting for my cornbread, and I did cook something else. So I am going to dish this up for you, but I'm going to come back as soon as my meat in the oven is ready, and then I'll dish you up a plate. Okay. Okay, we're back and I'm done with my dinner, so I just wanted to dish up these beans like I told you I would. So let's get started. Here is my rice. I have a plate already on the side, and of course my rice came out perfect. And as you can see, all of the grains are standing to themselves, which is just the way I like my rice. Put the top back on that. Here is my beans. Okay, and look at those beans. These beans came out perfect. I mean perfect. You can see the cream. See how creamy that is? Look at it. That is so creamy. So we're going to put the beans with some of the cream over the rice. Just a minute. I'm always making a little bit of a mess. I did make pot roast, which you'll see in another segment. And I already have a piece that's cut. So I'm going to put that down on my plate. I'm going to add to this potato and a couple carrots because they came out well as well. And then I'm going to add my cornbread. Now, take a look at that plate. Now, the one thing that I didn't add is I didn't add the turkey necks. And the reason be is because whoever it was that ends up getting that plate, it's like, oh my, you know, that's just a ton of food. But let's just say, for the effect of just showing it, okay, I can add one of these turkey necks. Okay, that's the finished touch. And as always, thank you for watching Chris 2. I did want to tell you that, you know, there's a lot of recipes. Some of them are old school, and I will be trying those recipes. And if it's something that you're not sure about, just drop me an email, and I'll try to help you out with it. Thanks a lot. Bye.